Hello, it's Andy again, and a quick video this time on the first new release records I've got in 2023, and it's cracking up to be quite a good year based on this. I mean, last year, 2022, I bought somewhere a bit over 25 new release vinyl albums and a handful on CD. And I thought, that's because they're expensive. So roughly on average two a month. And this year I said I was going to cut down a bit and be a bit more selective. Well, I've been selective this month, and I've still managed to buy three new releases, and that's excluding the ones a couple from late last year, which I missed and I've got now, and a handful of reissues as well. So far in January, I've broken my New Year's resolution already. So anyway, three albums you couldn't be as different from one another. They're all bands that or people that I know from old. There's nobody terribly new in here, but new release albums. They're all good in their own way. So I just thought I'd introduce it. I'm not going to do a full review on these in the interest of time. So the first album is sort of singer-songwriter style, band electrical. It's not a folky singer-songwriter, and it's Gaz Coombs, Turn the Car Around. And sort of, he's playing an electric guitar there on the picture, so it sort of does what it says on the tin. For those who don't know Gaz, he was once upon a time the lead singer of Britpop band Supergrass when they were sort of very, very, very young. And he's matured into a very decent singer-songwriter. He's had, before this one, two or three solo releases in over the last 10 years or so. I've got two of them in digital format. I can't remember the CD or MP3 to be honest, but and they're both really good. This is up there with them, though having only listened to it a couple of times so far, it's not heading over them, but nor is it lagging too far. So decent album, nine songs on there, well written, well performed, very good quality singer-songwriter, and the record is sort of resplendent in blue. I got this one direct from his site, so it's I think it's supposed to be sort of limited, but I suspect it's the same one you get everywhere else. They often are. And moving on, and this one is completely different to that, and we're talking about the Polish proggers, Riverside, and their new album ID Entity. And this is really good. I know them. I've only got one of their albums, and it's their first one, which goes back to, I don't know, the early 2000s on CD. And I sort of streamed two or three tracks of this and really enjoyed them. So I sort of forked out for the album. It's a full double, quite longish tracks. There are three on side A and then two each on the other three sides. It's resplendent in orange, and there's a nice should we say a flimsy lyric sheet in there. So if you don't know them, they're not like 70s prog. They're more sort of Porcupine Tree style, and quite heavy. So Porcupine Tree in some of their phases were, are quite metally, and this is as well. Not out heavy metal, but metal prog or prog metal, whatever it's called. Really good bunch of songs. There's some great synths in there as well. They're sort of like slightly reminiscent of 80s synth. It's quite old school in that way. And the singer, It's all in English. The singer really enunciates his words really clearly. It's quite an unusual style, which I quite like. Bit different, really. And I've sort of mixed reviews from what I've seen online, but I like it. It's a decent album. And last but very much not least, this is probably the pick of these new albums, and it is. Can never remember. It's called Love in the Void by Hammock. So we've gone from sort of Oxford in the UK to Poland, and now we're in Nashville, Tennessee. For those who don't know Hammock, they are sort of post rock. So I have them in my sort of little group of post rock ones. And I once said that you don't get ambient in post rock, and then I had to say, well, I lied actually, not intentionally, but Hammock are. You know, if there is an ambient meets post rock, then it is Hammock. I've got a lot of their stuff. I've got one CD. This is the only one I've got on vinyl. It's another one where they're not always that easily available here. This album is a limited edition to 1,000 worldwide. And I just got it on UK Amazon at a reasonable price. Very well packaged, really good packaging. It comes in I can't remember what they called this, something blood mix or something like that. But they've put the records in proper sleeves of a similar type. I don't buy branded ones, but a similar type to the ones I use with the rice paper inside, and unused cardboard sleeves with lyrics on there, and a handful of, well, when I say lyrics, there are a couple of tracks which aren't instrumental, let's put it that way, and some little sort of mini card postery things. And so it was good value, because this was only, what I would have expected to pay for a full-on double. There's a download code which gives you the choice of getting 24-bit WAV files. So for those who aren't all into this, 16-bit WAV is basically what you get on a CD, and as you increase the number of bits, it increases the depth exponentially. So when you talk about 24-bit WAV, you're talking about something which is often classed as studio quality or DVD quality. So it's higher than CD basically, which is pretty good. I converted it to FLAC to reduce the size a bit, and jobs are good. Hammock are if you like ambient and you like sort of guitar-based sort of post-rock instrumental, even though some of these have got some singing on there, they are the best at that sort of mix. It's basically it's another twin guitar, but it doesn't sound, it's not wig out guitar. It's much more using the guitar, a bit like mono as an instrument. But the whole thing has some lush ambient undertones, but still sort of manages to build up and build up to some intensity at times. So it's not that sort of soporific, background ambient. It's much more with it than that, shall we say. So that's my 3 for January. I'm determined not to buy more than 1 or 2 in December, and I suspect I will fail. But thanks for watching. Cheers.